This is music, and this episode of Maid of Steel is full of epic narratives. Welcome to another episode of Made of Steel. In these videos, I basically just share with you some of the Band-Maid items in my collection, physical or digital, and I just talk about them. So these are not reaction videos. That's right, in this video, we're going to have a look at their 2024 full-length album, Epic Narratives. And normally in these videos, I start out by recommending some other Japanese artist or a release by some other Japanese artist. And I do so because I figured the audience would be interested in learning about other cool Japanese artists like J-Rock, J-Metal, and so on and so forth. And most people are, but there are some people who follow Band-Maid exclusively to the point that to them it's sacrilege to even consider listening to other Japanese artists, which to me is not a very healthy way of looking at things, but that's just my opinion. In any case, I have so much content on this channel now that deals with J-Rock and J-Metal and even non-rock from Japan, and you got individual videos, you got you know, entire series and stuff. So I don't think it's necessary for me to recommend Japanese artists in these Band-Maid videos anymore, because you can check out those other videos and series. So that means we can jump right into the release itself. Epic Narratives from 2024. And yeah, it's the box set version, as you can see. And it did come in a protective outer sleeve, which I have right here. So you have a sticker on the back with the barcode and stuff. You have this not hype sticker on the front, but more of an info sticker. Tells you there's a CD, that's the album itself. There is a live Blu-ray, and that's from the Day of the Maid show from May 10th, 2024. And there's a live photo book. And I actually do keep the box set in this outer sleeve because the box set actually needs protecting. I'll show you why in a minute. Now, it's one of these self-sealing outer sleeves. The problem is the adhesive is on the flap up here. It's not down here. And that's a big problem because when you got adhesive on the flap, it sticks. And that means it's very difficult for me to get the box back into this outer sleeve because this sticks to the box and it can actually damage the box. And that is something that, people who collect physical music media like myself, we care about that. So that's a little bit annoying. Now, uh, I pre-ordered my box set on CD Japan, so it came with some external bonuses too, including uh, this uh, poster, a live shot from, I believe, the Day of the Maid concert. So that's kind of cool for sure. And it even came with a separate CD with a song on it called Seasoned, which you have right here. So that's cool. Now, the box set itself comes in this die cut O card. So you got cutouts of the Band-Maid bow, and as you can see, it's very detailed. You got some fine details, and they will break if this is not protected. That's why I keep it in the protective outer sleeve. It looks very cool, and I still want a t-shirt with just a Band-Maid bow on it. On the back, you got a track list, you got the CD, and you got the Blu-ray. And I am going to go through every single song on the CD, so you're in for the long haul here. Now, this die cut O card, you can of course kind of slide the box set out of it, and then you get this very cool cover artwork. And immediately I recognize this structure because there's something similar to this on the 10th anniversary show DVD and Blu-ray. at least the version I have. So that's interesting. You got some kind of continuity, I guess. On the back, you got nothing, so it's a cool, sleek design. If we open up the box, we get this, and that's just an insert right here with a poster of the cover artwork on one side and lyrics, liner notes, credits, all that stuff on the other side. And of course, this poster is never going uh, on my walls. It's going to be kept in the box set. And then you have the photo book, which also has a cool, sleek design. And it's just full of pictures from, live shots. And I think they are from the day of the Maid show as well. So that is very cool. Konami rocking out, doing some tapping right here. And you also got some more like fun and goofy photos, and that's always, that's very Band-Maid. You got a band shot right here. So yeah, it's just a fun photo book. Now they are rocking their um, gothic, I think, outfits, and that's very cool. The important part is, of course, the CD and the Blu-ray themselves. And they come in this, I guess it's a kind of a digipack. Again, you got some track lists on the back, sleek design. You open it, you have the CD and you have the Blu-ray. So, yeah, that's the sort of more physical side of things for those of you who are interested in physical music media. The important thing, that's of course the music itself. So, let's go through the songs one by one. So, it starts out with a song called Magie. And it's a very good opener because it starts out with some really cool, groovy, kind of southern rock-ish lead guitar work, and there's a simple, groovy riff underneath, and that riff kind of pops up throughout the song. You have some very good verses, and kind of this is a Band-Maid trademark stylistic choice now that you got like variations on the verses, so different details from verse to verse. It's never quite the same and at least in the instrumentation, and that's cool and nice because you never know what you're gonna get. Uh, the chorus is kind of up tempo and a little bit punky in a way without being punk rock, you know what I mean? And you got some nice bass details because of course you do. It's Misa after all, and the bridge is really cool and groovy. And there's a particular section of the bridge just before the guitar solo that I particularly like. So I think it's a pretty good song. I like it for sure. The next one is Shambles, which was released a while ago as a single before we knew it was going to be on this album. And I do know some people feel a little bit cheated that they went out and picked up the single and then it pops up on the album. You know, people have opinions on that. I'm not going to go into that discussion though. I knew the song already because I had checked out the single, but I didn't pick it up. Uh, it's a heavier song. It's also kind of groovy. It has a catchy chorus, and you have some nice double bass drum details. And this is going to be a theme throughout the entire album. That the drumming is interesting, it's dynamic, and it's full of details. It's worth paying attention to the drumming. And of course, you got cool bass details because of course you do. And again, the trademark thing, the verses are a little bit different from one another. So I think Shambles is a pretty good song too. I enjoyed it the first time around, and I still enjoy it on this album. The next song is Protect You, which was released as an advance single. And I did check that one out. So I knew that song already. It starts out with a fun ooh la 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 part, which kind of revisits a little detail in Influencer, I think, where Kobato sings "Ooh la 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 la" in I think it's in the chorus. So they revisit that here. I think that's cool. You got some continuity. One detail I really like is that you got near blast beating on the drums just in the beginning. We're not talking grindcore blast beating, but we are talking the kind of blast beating you would hear on an old Suffocation album, the kind of blast beating Mike Smith would do. And I think it's fun to have some blast beating in a Band-Maid song. I would love for Band-Maid to make a song with super fast grindcore blast beating because I know Akane can do it and I know it will be true to the Band-Maid spirit, like lots of details and you know, influences from different genres. So, ladies, make a song with blast beats in it. I would enjoy it. In any case, it's a fun song. It's an up-tempo song. You got some tasty guitar solo work, and I like it. The next song is "Show Them." That's another advanced single, but I hadn't heard this one before because after Protect You, I decided not to listen to any more advanced singles because I didn't want the album spoiled for me. So, Show Them, it's a collab song. They collaborate with The Warning, which is another very popular all ladies hard rock band. I don't know them that well. I think they Mexican? I don't know, please let me know. But they're very popular. And this is more of a mid-tempo song. And the drumming is a little bit more straightforward, and the drums themselves sound a little bit more organic than on the rest of the songs. The song itself is very straightforward compared to the rest of the songs too. So it kind of takes me back a little bit to the very early Band-Maid output. Not so much the first mini album, but the next couple of mini albums, which were also a little bit more straightforward. And that's just a nice, I think, change, if you know what I mean. Uh, there's a really cool guitar riff in the second verse that I really like. And of course, cool bass details, because of course you have cool bass details in a song featuring Band-Maid. Uh, I really like the vocals. Uh, Saiki's voice and is it Daniela, her voice, the singer from The Warning. Their their voices work together very well because their voices are different enough that it's interesting, but they are equally powerful, and they're powerful in their own different ways. So that's great. That's a very, very cool detail, the vocals. So yeah, I enjoy Show Them a lot. I think it's a great song. The next one is Forbidden Tale. This is a bit of a garden path song because it starts out ballady and you think, oh, this is going to be a ballad, but it isn't. It kicks into a pretty hard rocking song with some nice guitar figures like every now and then that it's groovy again and I really dig him. And you got some fun surprises in this song too. There's a fun kind of jazzy section, you know, which I like. Uh, cool. It's almost progressive in that sense. So there, Forbidden Tale, a nice song. I enjoy it for sure. The next song is Bestie, and that's another advanced single, and that's another collaboration song. This time, it's a song that was partially co-composed by the guy from Incubus, and we're talking the alternative rock band Incubus, not the death thrash band Incubus. Uh, In fact, the death thrash band had to change their name to Opprobrium because of the alt rock band Incubus. And that means that a lot of metal fans hate the alt rock band Incubus because they kind of stole the death thrash band's name. Personally, I don't care, but it's a fun story. So, uh, this song has quite the 90s melancholic alternative rock vibe to it. And I really like the drumming. The drumming in this song is phenomenal. But that's about it. Because this song does not appeal to me. Other than the drumming, it's just not my cup of tea. It's not a bad song. It just doesn't do anything for me, this song in particular. Gotta be honest, can't win them all. Um, so yeah, there you go. But the drumming, it's excellent. The next one is Brightest Star. This is a Kobato song. I knew this song too because I think it's on the anniversary tour, DVD slash Blu-ray. I think it's on there. And that was a bit of a surprise on that one because wow, a new Kobato song. So yeah, so this is a song where Miku Kobato does the lead vocals. It's kind of a funky song, and it has very dynamic drumming. The theme of this record, dynamic drumming by Akane. I really like Kobato's voice. It's kawaii without being kawaii. You know what I mean? It's kawaii in the way that Miku is kawaii. You know what I mean? So it's a very Kobato sounding song in terms of the vocals. There's some really cool vocal lines towards the end in the coda of the song, and I wish the coda had been longer so we would get more of that. Uh, just nice vocal harmonies and vocal melody stuff. That would have been really nice. It's a nice song. It's not my favorite Kobato song, but it's a very good Kobato song. You know what I mean? I like it. It's followed by a song called Letters to You, and it's a melodic hard rock song. It's very melancholic too, and I really like it. Again, you have really dynamic drumming in this song. Overall, it's more of a poppy song to me. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of Conqueror, which is full of more like pop hard rock songs, if you know what I mean. So that's nice. Again, a nice change of pace here. I like it. Letters to You. I think it's a very good song. It's followed by The One, which is a power ballad. And, I'm from the generation of rock fans that was, traumatized. Basically, we were traumatized by the hair metal power ballad. So I don't like power ballads normally, but The One is an example of how to do power ballad that appeals to me. It's a really good song. It's very melancholic. It has a nice dynamic structure, and that's what I like about it. It's not cheesy, but you have some soft parts and you have some rocking parts, and you go kind of back and forth between those. And that's where the power comes into the power ballad. And again, fantastic dynamic drumming. So I actually really like The One, although it's a power ballad. And it's a nice segue to the next song, Memorable, which was also a song that was released as a single a long time ago. It's an acoustic ballad, and Saiki goes heavy on the vibrato on this one, and I've noticed that this is something she does in a lot of the soft parts and in the soft songs and the ballady parts. She goes very heavy on the vibrato. It works for me in this song. I think it fits the song very well. But I can imagine that a lot of Western listeners might find it a little bit grating because I don't think in the West in general people are used to people going that heavy on the vibrato just in general. But I have noticed that it's not uncommon in Japanese rock and pop music uh, to go heavy on the vibrato. So I imagine that it's probably something that's inherited from more traditional Japanese vocal music. And for the most part, I like it. I appreciate it. I like influences from other cultures. There are some songs on the live acoustic show they did during COVID where she goes so heavy on the vibrato that it's too much even for me. But for the most part, and that includes this song, Memorable, it works excellently. You know what I mean? To me, it's a matter of taste at the end of the day. So Memorable, a nice acoustic ballad for sure. It's followed by Go Easy. Go Easy is another melancholic song. It's a hard rock song, but very melancholic. And it has a similar vibe to Bestie, but I like Go Easy much better. In my opinion, it's a much better song, but that's just my opinion. It's followed by a song called Toi et Moi. Uh, that's a groovy song. It has some really cool riffs in it, some cool guitar figures. You got some heavy parts, and this is one song where you have some pretty fast drumming too. Not blast beats, but pretty fast drumming. You have lots of cool details in this song as well, and you got some tasty lead guitar work. So, Toi et Moi, fantastic song in my opinion. It's followed by another song, obviously, called Tamaya. And It's kind of a funky song, but it's really tight, and that's what I really like about that song. Funky, tight song. Again, you got dynamic drumming, and yes, finally, you have the Japanese disco drum beat in the chorus. I've grown to really appreciate that just straightforward disco drum beat. It pops up in a lot of Japanese rock and metal songs and pop songs. It's all over the place. If you listen to enough um, J-rock, you will start noticing it. Um, 9 times out of 10, it works very well for me, and that's the case for this song, Tamaya. You got some great funky bass work, because of course you do, and another song that has some tasty lead guitar work in it. And that takes us to the last song, an instrumental called Get to the Top. It's rocking. I like it. It's catchy, but it's not as catchy as From Now On and Onset, which are great instrumentals by Band-Maid. In particular, Onset, I have a very soft spot for that song. It's very cool. You got lots of details in it. You got some catchy parts at the end of the day, but you know, again, prefer Onset and From Now On. So, overall, I think, yeah, so the Batmate fans are gonna come after me for this with pitchforks and torches and nooses and gallows because I don't love this album. I like it. I really, really, really like it. But it's not an album that blows me away completely, unlike, say, Unseen World and um, Just Bring It, and even New Beginning and Brand New Made. Uh, it's not an album that kind of sweeps my feet away, I have to say. I really like it. And I was actually quite worried before the album came out. I had my concerns about this one because, first of all, Bestie was an advanced single, and as you can gather, I found that song underwhelming, and I was a little bit afraid that the entire album would be like that because I did not know that, Memorable and Shambles and so on and so forth would be on this album. Fortunately, Protect You came out as an advanced single too, so I was a little bit less worried after that. But still, I had my concerns because of Bestie. They were proven wrong, so that's good. And I was also afraid that maybe they would try to uh, cater a little bit too much to a Western audience in this album. Probably again because of the Bestie song. That concern was proven wrong too, because no, you have lots of Band-Maid style choices, and you have a lot of Japanese influences, and they sing a lot of the songs in Japanese as well. So those concerns were put to shame. Now, uh, so that's good. Now, some of the songs on this album actually do remind me of New Beginning and Brand New Made, the simpler songs from back when they didn't write their own material. Uh, in particular, Maji and Shambles and Tamaya, and also Show Them. They're just like more elaborate versions, I guess, of what you find on those two mini albums. Uh, so I like that. Now, Saiki, I think, does a really, really good job on the vocals. She goes heavy on the vibrato, not a problem to me, but like I said, might be an issue to, a lot of other Western listeners. But hey, people do things differently around the world, and there's no correct way of doing something in the greater scheme of things, in my opinion. So I like Saiki's work on this album for sure. The drumming is probably my favorite part. It's dynamic, it's super interesting, and it does a lot of work on the toms, a lot of almost like cursive work on the toms, and not just fills, but like rhythms in the verses and stuff. And you got lots of cool bass drum details as well. So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff to appreciate about the drumming on this album. It's probably my favorite part of the album, the drumming, along with the bass work because it's Misa, and of course it's good. What else can you say? Now, there are a lot of elements on this album that are kind of similar to Unseen World, but to me, Unseen World was much more of a roller coaster ride. You had fast, aggressive songs, you had soft and mellow songs, you had very complex songs, you had simple songs, you had groovy songs. It was a true musical journey, like ups and downs, not downs in the bad sense, but in intensity, you know what I mean? And Unseen World is my favorite Band-Maid album. This, although it has a lot of similar elements, this one is more even, if you know what I mean. Not that much of a roller coaster ride. Um, and you have a lot of catchy choruses on this one, but the choruses are not as memorable to me as on pretty much all their other albums. Ironically, the song with the most memorable chorus to me is the song that is called Memorable. So there you go. So overall, I know the Bandmate fans will come after me, like I said, with pitchforks, torches, gallows, spiked clubs, and all sorts of weapons. But this album has not clicked with me yet. It has not swept the feet away under me. Um, like Unseen World did, Just Bring It did it, World Domination did it, and even New Beginning and Brand New Made. And also Unleash, right? They all clicked with me immediately. This one has not clicked with me yet. As you can gather, there are lots of details that I really like and I really appreciate. But I think this is going to be similar to Conqueror, which to me was more of a grower. That one didn't click with me immediately for different reasons. Conqueror was a little bit overall, a little bit too poppy to click with me immediately. A lot of Bandmate fans that I interacted with got really mad at me over that too. Whatever. But I've learned to appreciate Conqueror, and I've learned to, appreciate the songs and listen to them in a way that really makes a lot of sense to me. And I think it's going to be the same with this album. It's a grower, I think. Already the seeds have been planted. There are lots of things I appreciate about it. It just hasn't clicked with me yet. It will at some point, but for now, it hasn't. That's not to say that, and I have to stress this because it's the internet and people cannot think in shades of gray. It's all black and white. So if I say I don't love this album, people think I hate it. That's not the case. I like the album. A lot of things I appreciate about it, but I don't like it as much as a lot of the other Band-Maid albums. That's all there is to it. Put your pitchforks back, put them where the sun doesn't shine. In any case, I do like this album. It just hasn't clicked with me yet. So there you go. Now, what about this song here, Seasoned, which came as an external bonus? So it's an instrumental song, and there's some really good bass work in it because, of course, there is. It starts out strong, really interesting. It's really promising. It's kind of moody and melancholic. And what I really appreciate about it is that, and it's probably just me making that connection because of my own personal music history, there's some very Iron Maiden-esque chord progressions in the introduction of the song. It's very short, though. It almost seems unfinished. To me, it seems like it might be the theme for a TV show, and maybe it is a theme song for an anime or a TV show. Is it? Let me know if it is. It sounds like it, and then it would make sense that it's that short, but I wish it would have been longer because it was really promising. And if they wanted to really spoil those of us who pre-ordered it, I think they should have put out like a mini compilation of, all their instrumental songs, or at least a selection of them, including Seasoned. That would be really cool. Actually, please do that. Maybe there is already one out, I don't know, but if not, please do that. So, yeah, I think it's a really good song, but it's a little bit underwhelming that there's only that song on here, if I'm being completely honest, but that's just my opinion. So, what about the live Blu-ray Day of the Maid from May 10th, 2024? Now, I only watched it once because, their shows are very long, and that's actually very impressive that they can keep up the energy. Of course, if you watch them live enough times, you kind of realize that they are very strategic, placing like soft songs and low energy songs strategically so everybody can get a break, and that's nice. And they have these longer stretches of stage banter and stuff, which is fun. So, that's nice too. Now, this show does have a bunch of songs from the Epic Narratives album. It has Shambles, it has Go Easy, Memorable, Bestie, Brightest Star, and Magie. And I gotta say, those songs work extremely well live. So I think that might be the forte of this album, that the songs are going to be very, very good live songs. I think that's where the strength in a lot of these songs lie. Um, so there's something to be said for that for sure. And I think this fact that they work very well live might also help me, work towards that stage where the album clicks with me. Sometimes that happens, right? Uh, now, uh, one thing that was really interesting was seeing how Konami plays the kind of main riff in Bestie, that she uses her thumb for some of the chords. That's always interesting when guitar players do that because that's not very common. It is a technique, and there are situations where it actually makes more sense to use your thumb than it is to use your index finger and your um, the flipping bird finger. I'm sorry, just kidding, but you know what I mean. Uh, so that was really interesting, and these songs work very well live. Um, you have classics as well, like Black Hole, Manners and About Us, Corallium, Unleash, No God, Influencer, bunch of other songs that are more like classics. Uh, there's a super fast version of Black Hole, and Black Hole is one of my favorite Band-Maid songs because it does kind of connect with my interest in, like more extreme metal and thrash metal because it's a really fast song already, just more detailed, of course. So there's a super fast version of Black Hole, and it's kind of the opening song after their kind of introduction, and it's really, really smart of them to place the fastest song in the beginning, so they're not tired when they play it. And it's also a song that seems very chaotic. It isn't, but it seems very chaotic and it's fast, and it might be hard to pay attention to all the details. So it's kind of a good song to basically get warmed up on when you perform on stage. It's not a chaotic song. It has a very complex structure with a lot of details. But it might seem chaotic to people that might not pay that much attention to compositions and stuff, right? We all listen to music differently, and there's no correct way of doing that. Uh, I also noticed that I th- I think it was in Unleash. Now, if you listen to Unleash, the studio version, there are some kind of Nintendo uh 64 sounding synth guitar melodies, and it looked like they were backtracked. There's nothing wrong with backtracking. A lot of artists do that, and if you use backtracking sensibly, you can give the audience uh, more of those details that you can do in the studio that you cannot do live normally. So I don't have a problem with backtracking per se, except if you do it like Motley Crue have been accused of doing it out of laziness. That's not the case here. I think it's out of consideration to the audience, giving them the full experience of the songs live. I just noticed, I thought that was interesting that it seemed that the lead part was backtracked. Not a critique, just an observation. Uh, I also noticed that some of the live versions of the classics are slightly different from the album versions. I don't know if that's a spillover from the 10th anniversary show, which the theme there was slight variations. So that might be the case. Um, So I like the set list. It would have been nice, I think, with some more older songs. But if I want that live, I can just watch the 10th anniversary show again, right? But I do have a weakness for those like old songs from the first, or the second and third mini albums, and also from the first full length album. I do have just a soft spot for those, so I always want more of that. It's just, you know. So I think overall, it's a really, really good live performance. And they are, it looks like they're having fun. They're high energy. Um, you know, great performance on the instrumentation, and Saiki really shines in this show in particular. Not just her vocal performance, but also her stage presence, her like attitude, her interaction with the audience. Um, there's a bit of theatricality as well. She does some, dramatic poses and stuff, and smiles a lot, which is always nice. That your bands kind of seem like they're having a good time. And she goes wild in places where she does more like shouting and yelling and is less concerned with hitting the notes and stuff, adding a bit of rock and roll to it. And that's great too. And so I think Saiki really shines in this show. That's the vibe I get. So it's a great, great show. Performance wise, the stage show looks great, the lighting and all that stuff. But the camera work really, really, really annoys me on this show. Um, a lot of fast cuts, um, a lot of like shaky cam effect stuff, a lot of kind of like zooming in and blurring out and stuff like that. Um, and that annoys me a lot uh, because I'm not watching a live show for the camera work to be blurry and shaky. I know they're going for an edgy effect and maybe to kind of emulate uh, footage from the audience. But yeah, overall, the camera work is really, really annoying, really disturbing. I'm not saying they should dwell on the musicians forever, but I wish they would actually dwell on the individual musicians a little bit more so you can see them play and so on and so forth. Of course, it shouldn't be like those old Deep Purple shows where they dwell on the musicians forever and they dwell on the wrong musicians. So when Richie Blackmore would play a guitar solo, the camera is on uh, the singer or the bass player or someone else. That's not what I'm saying, but I wish they would have been a little bit more steady. I wish they would have gone for a different aesthetic, is what I'm saying. The camera work really annoyed me, I have to say. But overall, a really, really great live show. I enjoyed it. So yeah, that was a very long video about epic narratives. Epic narratives is what it's called. And like I said, I think a lot of Band-Maid fans will come after me with pitchforks, but it's not an album that I love. It hasn't clicked with me yet. You can't win them all, but I enjoy it, I like it, and I definitely recommend that if you like hard rock, check out the album. Make up your own opinion. For now, thanks for watching.